case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for.
In a complex legal dispute, Medico-Dental Building Company, the plaintiff alleged that Horton and Converse, the defendant, failed to honor the terms of their rental contract. Specifically, the defendant ceased paying rent. The crux of the controversy lay in the interpretation of lease agreements under contract law and landlord-tenant law. The conflict arose when the plaintiff, in violation of a restrictive clause in the initial lease, permitted another business concern to lease property for the purposes of operating a competing drugstore. Dr. Boonshaft, the third party involved, was allowed to rent an additional property despite a stringent lease agreement that explicitly prohibited the plaintiff from doing so. Consequently, when Dr. Boonshaft reneged on his promise and responded to pull of commerce by opening a drugstore of his own, the defendant rightfully felt threatened by this newly sprung competition. Unable to thwart Dr. Boonshaft's pursuit, the plaintiff found itself mired in a breach of the lease agreement. In retaliation, Horton and Converse vacated the rented premises and ceased payment of rent, resulting in the plaintiff launching an uproar in court, accusing Horton and Converse of breach of contract. The lower court, taking into consideration both legal precepts of contract and property law, ruled in favor of the defendant, Horton and Converse. The court contended that the plaintiff's disregard for the restrictive covenant within the lease allowed the defendant to abstain from rent payment. The plaintiff, unable to shoulder the echo of this defeat, appealed to a higher authority. However, the appellate court, upon review, upheld the lower court's decision. Essential to their conclusion was the understanding that they could only evaluate the trial court's findings' legal soundness, rather than entertain any contesting evidence. The rulings on the scope and waiver of the restrictive covenant, as well as acquiescence, withstood the plaintiff's appeal, cementing the defendant's victory in this intricate legal battle.
Case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for. Visit lsd.law, elevate your mind. Leave the stress of class.